Hello. Good morning, everyone. I'm Chitra. So today I'm hosting new session. So I hope you all are add your name on the website and join this session. So this session is really wonderful session, and we get different types of knowledge and other things. So just pick out any article and read and try to explain. Okay. So now I'm checking website. Okay, Mr. JM, are you ready?
Yeah, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Yeah, I am reading article 11, ma'am.
Okay. All the best.
Yeah, ma'am. All the best. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Today, I am reading the article number in the newspaper 11. Can I start? Back on track. India and Malaysia have set about repairing ties during the Modi visit. Making amends was at the top of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's 24 hours visit to Kuala Lumpur. Over the weekend after he had cancelled a planned trip to Malaysia last year at short notice to attend the Asian Summit in October 2025. As a result, Mr. Modi said that he made Malaysia his first destination abroad in the new year. His talks with Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, who had visited in India in 2024, resulted in MOU with plans to strengthen ties. There was some strain in India-Malaysia ties in 2025 too, although Malaysia condemned the Pahalgam terror attacks. Mr. Ibrahim had called for a full and thorough inquiry into the perpetrators and also for de-escalation and meaningful dialogue between India and Pakistan, which ruffled features in New Delhi. He had even offered his services to mediate if required, and in October 2025, he had hosted Pakistan Prime Minister Sanaf Sharif for an official visit. It is therefore significant that Mr. Modi set aside this concern and that the joint statement said India-Malaysia condemned terrorism unequally, including cross-border terrorism. India-Malaysia also discussed counter-terrorism cooperation, intelligence and information sharing, and coordinating position at the United Nations and the Financial Action Task Force on the issues. Other important decisions were on MOU on semiconductors, building on cooperation between IIT Madras Global and the Advanced Semiconductor Academy of Malaysia. Building ties in trade, defense, energy, and digital technologies were highlighted by the two sides that took care not to discuss contentious issues policy publicly, such as the continued stay of preacher Jarak Naik wanted in India on UAPA charges. The two sides also sidestepped their differences over multilateral issues. Mr. Modi's decision to skip the Asian summit despite accepting the invitation had also dealt a blow to negotiations on reviving the Asian-India trade in goods agreement. Critical comments by Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal about the free trade agreement as barely negotiated and silly, and is reference to Asian countries as P teams. To China, skill record. Mr. Modi's visit was an important reminder of India's commitment, even as New Delhi moves ahead with free trade agreement with and Europe and the US-India will chair the BRICS summit later this year. In a joint statement, India merely noted Malaysia's aspirations to become a member. Mr. Ibrahim will be invited as Malaysia is a BRICS partner country, while Indonesia has become a member. Mr. Modi's visit, which was welcomed warmly by Mr. Ibrahim, may thus lead to closer coordination but also lay the ground for closer ties between India and the Asian region in terms of their shared geographics and in dealing with the larger changes in the world. I got done. I am going to small summary. This article tell about back on track. Actually, recently visit on Mr. Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Malaysia. In 24 hours visited. Last year cancelled in Mr. Modi in Malaysia trips because Balgam attack, and recently summit in October 2025 Asian Summit. And this MOU basically in counterterrorism and first relationship in Malaysia. And this many MOU signed in India. Example IIT Madras and Advanced Semiconductor in Malaysia MOU signed. And second in free trade agreement. Yeah, I got done.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jayam. So it was really wonderful sharing. Yeah. So when we think about your reading part, so it was also good you read this article so confidently. Yeah. Sometimes you mispronounce some words. For example, terrorism. Can you pronounce this word?
Yeah, ma'am. Tell me.
Terrorism. Terrorism.
Terrorism.
Z. Zam. Not sir.
Terrorism.
Yeah. So it is a z, not sir. And
Okay.
after that, so no need to stress on the V3 word, means past tense words. For example, discussed, walked,
Discussed. Yeah. Discussed.
not discussed, it is discussed. Discussed.
Discussed.
Yes, very good. So likewise, these words you mispronounce. So please focus on it, especially past tense word V3. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, otherwise everything is good. Thank you so much for sharing and participating. So keep
Yeah.
joining regularly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
So, yes. Anybody wants to add something in this article? Article number 11.
Audible.
Yes, Swayam.
Okay, so this article is really focusing about the very visit of the head of the state of Bharat, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, to the Kuala Lumpur, which is exactly the capital city of the Malaysia. And there was a whole lot of the point of agreement which has come into existence. Even if you're going to see how exactly it is going to contribute in the domain of repairing the relation with that country. As we know, Prime Minister Modi was not able to attend the last year meeting of ASEAN summit, right? So that was concerned. So in order to create a balance of those stuff was also one of the reason. And if you're going to see, there are some of the element which are required to be also addressed upon, right? If you're going to see the very statement and the remark which has come out from the head and state of the Malaysia, who was Ibrahim, he calls for an inquiry about the Pahalgam attack that exactly has taken, and he was willing to bring a dialogue between India and Pakistan, and he also invited the head of the state of Pakistan, Shehbaz Sharif, too. Okay, so there was some point of disagreement as arise at that time. But if you are going to see it, except that we have gone one step forward, okay, after taking this problem, when the joint statement, it's come about the joint statement on the terrorism, both countries have come together. They reach at a point of agreement. Okay, we are going to condemn the terrorism from its all dimension, either it's cross-border terrorism or any another types of terrorism that's going to come into existence. If you're going to see the domain of the trade that exactly we have done in the agreement with that, we have told the multiple MOU would have been signed, taking the semiconductor as one of the pivotal one, right? We are also talking about how exactly we can create a harmony or a correlation in the domain of trade, defense, energy, and digital technology. So, right. One of the great concern which is required to focus upon, the discussion has also gone. Okay, if you're going to say, about Zakir Naik, a person who was very much contributed enough for inspiring the good number of people to indulge in the domain of terrorism and to bring the extremism against motherland Bharat. That person is also residing there. Okay, so that was one of the concern which was also discussed. If you are going to go one step forward, that okay, how exactly this country can have its relevance when it's come about the multilateral issues and the future outlook, then we have to be greatly concerned with. Okay, there are multiple topics where exactly we are having a difference of opinion, right? Including India's decision to skip the ASEAN summit and also the critical comment that exactly has come out from Asia and the trade, okay, goods and agreement, right? So you will be familiar about CPAC, right? Uh, 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 the RCEP. RCEP is exactly agreement of all the Southeast Asian countries for the trade and all the stuff where India has established itself in 2019 or 20. So all the rivalry not something very new. It have been very old, right? Even if you're going to see India, which is going to chair BRICS summit later this year, the Malaysia has given its inspiration to join. So somehow what is happening, we are expanding our periphery to keep this country the part of our own basket. In the future, we are going to create the way better relation. What exactly might be possible for motherland? Yeah, that might be one of the contexts which is required to be.
Okay, thank you so much, Swayam. So it was really knowledgeable and detailed explanation. I really appreciate you. Yeah. So this article is really important article. It is the greatest synchronization you can say. They gather and they want to repair lots of things. So it was really beneficial to our nation. So thank you so much. Yeah. So next person is Vipin. Hello Vipin sir, are you there?
Yes, good morning. Good morning to everybody
Good
on this
morning.
VC. I would like to read article number 19. Can I read it?
Yes sir. All the best.
Thank you. Rupees 54,000 crore lost in digital arrests. This is dacoity. SC. This article is written by Mr. Anantakrishnan G. The Supreme Court on Monday questioned the role of the RBI and other banks in checking instances of digital arrests and asked them to put in place artificial intelligence tools that will flag suspicious transactions. Chief Justice of India, Suryakant, presiding over a 3-judge bench, said, reports indicate that over rupees 54,000 crore has been lost in digital arrests and wondered why action is yet not forthcoming. If RBI does not take any stern coercive decision even at this stage, when the information in public domain, official or unofficial, suggests that definitely more than rupees 25,000 crore has been siphoned off, One of the figures sent to me talks of 54,000 plus crore of hard-earned money of the victims taken away, the court said, adding that it is absolute robbery, dacoity. CJI Kant also criticized the indiscriminate lending by banks, saying, what is happening is that these banks are in due course of time becoming a huge liability on the public. The courts have become their recovery agents. They grant reckless loan amounts, and then you have NCLT and various other quasi-judicial systems only to recover money for them. They should be put behind the bars if they are indulging in this. Attorney General R. Venkatramani meanwhile informed the court that the RBI has come up with an SOP for banks to deal with digital arrest cases. Taking note, the court directed the Union Ministry of Home Affairs to formally adopt and implement the SOP dated January 2, 2026 across India for inter-agency coordination, location of defrauded parties, etc. It also directed that the rules in this regard be notified in 3 weeks. The SC also asked the RBI, MHA, and others to consider the desirability of suspending the suspicious transactions under PMLA. It called upon the authorities to jointly hold a meeting to evolve a framework for victim compensation in digital arrests cases. Posting the matter for hearing after 2 weeks, the court also sought a fresh status report. Amicus Curiae, senior advocate N.S. Nappinai, told the bench, which also comprised Justices Joy Mallya Bagchi, N.V. Anjaria, that the RBI is only imposing nominal penalties on banks which are violating its own circulars, which are not commensurate with the loss on account of the violation. She said, for example, Mail Hunter developed by RBI is an AI tool, has been implemented by 86 banks, but RBI's own circular mandates that banks have to develop AI tools which go beyond mail hunters, which will include velocity checks. When a digital arrest victim transfers sums that are unnaturally high, even that can be detected using AI tools and can be paused, or it can be a trigger which will then ensure either pausing of the transactions at the issuer bank itself or at the receiving bank's end. That has not been done. The CJI said there will be certain gray areas where probably with a view to whatever may be, we will not say it's their compulsion, but they may not want to pressurize banks to adopt certain things. But it does not mean that we will also finally agree to that. We will then see what is to be done by us. Reiterating that banks should be able to detect with AI when unusual transactions take place in accounts which see nominal activity every month. The CJI said, we hope that they will not invite a direction from us. If RBI can introduce some robust mechanism. Justice Bagchi said, the problem is banks are more into business model and naturally so with its ideas of profit earned, and in doing that, what they are becoming either innocently or maybe connivingly, the platforms through which there is a very swift and seamless transmission of stolen proceeds of crime. I have finished reading the article and I would try to define or explain this article. First of all, we need to understand what are digital arrests. Digital arrest is a fraudulent, high-stakes cybercrime. That means it is a fraud committed by some people who have in their minds that with malified intentions, with bad intentions, they would like to loot the money of the people. And digital arrest is done by criminals who, through video calls, they try to show themselves as they are investigators and they belong to law enforcement agencies, and they intimidate, they create fear in the mind of normal citizens or normal account holders. They sometimes say that your particular Aadhaar card has been used for drug trafficking, or they may say that your parcel in your name contains illegal items. So you are under arrest and you cannot go anywhere and you've got to be online. And most of these cases are done with elderly people or vulnerable people who may not be knowing the nitty-gritties of law. Before going further about the topic, I would like to say that in these cases, we must be very clear that there is no law enforcement agency in India which conducts investigations or arrests people on video calls. So in case, God forbid, any call comes, one must hang up. That is the first part of this topic which I just wanted to share with you all. Now, this article has been a landmark article in my humble opinion, because the way the Chief Justice of India, Shri Surya Kant, has taken the banks to task, and the way it has said that these banks are almost money-making machines, and in spite of the fact that they have all the wherewithal and all the authority to take care of its clients and its customers, they are not doing so. And they are using NCLT. The full form of NCLT is National Company Law Tribunal. It is an institution which is used to resolve all the corporate disputes. So NCLT is being used, and eventually the banks are able to get the money back by using the courts. That is where the RBI says that this is wrong. And RBI has got to understand that there are many AI tools that could be used to find out that if any transaction in an account which is being done, which is of a very high amount, and that account holder has not done such a transaction before, that should be enough to find out that there is something wrong going on, and the bank should be alert. Because CJI means to say that people trust in banks and they put their hard-earned money in the banks in the belief that their money is safe. And if in the pursuit of earning money, the banks do not bother about the customers and amount to the tune of 54,000 crore have been lost in digital arrests, then this is a cause of concern. This is generally the theme and the concept of this particular topic. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Vipin sir. So it was really knowledgeable and detailed explanation. Yeah, so this article is really sensible article, and we should also alert. We should alert about it because we have get lots of call and messages about it. And if you use transaction unnecessarily, so it is completely snorri roaster thing because if everyone has know about it and importance of AI tools, how to use and how to utilize in other things. So it is so sensible things, and RBI also alert and conscious about it. And because every times cannot means we cannot get proper suggestion and decision, and whenever we get failure, so we always go to the police station or court. But at that time some judiciary also, they cannot scapegoat to others. So it is a so means completely disorder thing. So RBI also conscious about it, and you cover lots of points in this article in detail. So it is really fruitful thing and thoughtful also. So anybody wants to add something in this article? So please go ahead. Swayam, UK. Hello. Okay, no one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you like to add something in this article?
I think already there's some part which is required to be really focus upon the very remark which has okay already the brother has pointed out how exactly the Supreme Court has criticized the Reserve Bank of India and other banks regarding their attempt or exactly the decision that they are taking to tackle the very problem of the financial losses or digital errors which is taking place. Now, the concern which is really required to be taken upon, if you are going to see what exactly the Supreme Court has said, is that the tools, that AI tools that exactly they are using is not that much advanced enough to tackle this problem, right? So, if you are going to see the 86 bank has implemented this, the Mule Hunter is the name of AI tools that RBI has come into existence. But if you are going to see the when it's came about the velocity jet, that's very small with the base. So somehow we have come with a new or advanced version of the AI tools which can tackle this problem very easily. And so there are some practices of the banks which was also criticized one, where the Chief Justice of India, Kant, has given one remark that it is appearing like that bank would have been liability, and exactly Supreme Court is standing for giving the protection to these specific people. So that is the big concern, where exactly responsibility should be in the hand of the RBI as an entity in order to tackle this problem as an entity. But if you are going to see things are not really working up to the mark. Supreme Court has also given one statement or one remark that RBI, specifically to the RBI and the Ministry of Home Affairs, and other considered entity which are really indulged in that. Why should not broad this specific activity of those who are indulged in digital arrest and all stuff in the purview or the umbrella of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act? So that is one of the core concept or core stuff which is part of the article that exactly the brother has deciphered just few minutes back.
Okay, thank you so much, Swayam. See, it was really thoughtful sharing. You always did these things, so it is really appreciable. Yeah. So we have UK. Hello, UK sir. Are you there?
Yeah, yeah. Is it my turn, Chitra, now?
Yes, sir.
Oh, thank you so much. I wasn't expecting my turn to become this early. So, uh, let me search my article. Okay, my article number is 9. Please let me know whether it is done or not yet. 9 number article.
Sir, no, it is not done. You can continue. All
Okay.
the best.
Yes, yes. Because I found it very pertinent and important article, so that's why I chose it. So I am going to read it now. So this article is basically related to the connection between anemia and this diabetes. Okay. So anemia, blood disorder can distort diabetes test HbA1c results, says study. So I'm going to read it straight now. Bindu Sahajan Parapadan, New Delhi. So glycated hemoglobin HbA1c, which is commonly used to diagnose and monitor type 2 diabetes T2D, may mislead diagnosis and monitoring in South Asia, particularly in India's population, due to the high prevalence of anemia. Hemo, uh, Hemoglobinopathies such as sickle cell disease and thalassemia and glucose 6 phosphate dehydrogenase G6PD deficiency, says an article published online in Lancet Regional Health, Southeast Asia, led by Anup Misra, corresponding author and chairman of Fortis CDoc Center of Excellence for Diabetes. The review questions reliance on HbA1c as the sole diagnostic or monitoring tool for type 2 diabetes in South Asia. The article adds that poorly standardized HbA1c assay methods complicate interpretation of HbA1c values. Overall, reliance solely on HbA1c is constrained by several clinical and biological factors in India. A multi-parametric risk stratified approach that integrate oral glucose tolerance test, self-monitoring of blood glucose, and whenever possible, continuous glucose monitoring in addition to relevant hematologic assessments are essential to enhance diagnostic and monitoring accuracy and inform appropriate treatment decisions, especially in primary care and resource-limited settings, Dr. Misra says. Any condition that affect the structure that affect, oh my God, sorry, I got a call. Uh, where I are essential to enhance diagnostic and monitoring accuracy and inform appropriate treatment decisions, especially in primary care and resource limited setting, Dr. Misra says. Any condition that affect the quantity, structure of life or lifespan of hemoglobin, such as anemia, hemoglobinopathies, or other red blood cell disorders, can distort HbA1c values and lead to misleading estimates of average blood glucose. The Viewpoint article notes. Co-author Sasank Joshi from Joshi Clinic Mumbai explains that in some region of India, people are nutritionally challenged and have iron deficiency anemia, which can distort HbA1c readings. This would affect both diagnosis and monitoring, thus misleading clinicians. Reliance on HbA1c alone could delay diagnosis by up to 4 years in men with undetected G6PD deficiency, potentially increasing risks of complication, Dr. Joshi says. The article explains that in patients with type 1 diabetes, a non-linear relationship between mean blood glucose and HbA1c has been documented. Yes, Chitra. So I have read my article, so I will try to explain it. So basically, this article is all about, if you guys are aware about this particular test, HbA1c, this is basically the diagnosis test of type 2 diabetes, more prevalently, right? Because if you are aware about little bit of the biological terms, the diabetes are of two type 1 and type 2. So type 2 diabetes, which is more prevalent diabetes, this is called the insulin independent diabetes, right? Which means it is not genetic, but because of some poor lifestyle and some other thing, we have developed this kind of diabetes. And the other kind of diabetes is type 1 diabetes. Somehow that is insulin dependent diabetes, which means most of the time it is due to the genetic problems, not by the lifestyle. But the article is talking about type 2 diabetes, and which is more prevalent in Southeast Asia and India too. This is called insulin independent diabetes, right? And the prevalent test for type 2 diabetes is HbA1c. But what the article is talking about, and this article, by the way, is eye opener, because people are only relying on this HbA1c test, but there are some other problem which somehow bringing the garbage result of this particular test and not the reality that the author is talking here about in this particular article. The experts are also suggesting the same. What is the problem? We must understand. If you are aware about the blood composition, right? Many of you might be from the biology background, so you must be aware. So blood consists of two things. The one is plasma and the other thing is blood cells. Plasma is a kind of liquid structure where some proteins and some other things are dissolved in it. But when we talk about the blood cells, you must have heard about the RBC, red blood cells, WBC, platelets. These are called the blood cells. So blood is consists of two things, plasma and blood cells. And when I talk about the blood cells, RBC, WBC and platelets, RBC are in the big number, right? So basically RBCs are the one which are consisting a greater part of the blood or a greater proportion of the blood. But if I talk about the RBC itself, it consists of hemoglobin. And when I talk about the hemoglobin, it consists of the iron, because hemoglobin itself means that hemo means iron, globin means protein. So this is the combination of iron and protein. So ultimately I can say that if there is the deficiency of the iron, there is the deficiency of the hemoglobin. And if there is the deficiency of hemoglobin, there is the deficiency of the RBC. And if there is the deficiency of the RBC, there is the deficiency of the blood cells. And if there is the deficiency of the blood cells, there is the deficiency of the overall quality of the blood in the human body. We must understand. But in case of the test of the diabetes, HbA1c, and suppose a person is being affected by thalassemia or sickle cell anemia, or so to say malnutrients, as the article is talking about, what happens in these diseases? These diseases are somehow overtly or covertly associated with the quality of the RBC. Let me take a very simple example of the sickle cell anemia, as the article is talking about. The size of the RBC turns into the form of a sickle, right? Which means that that is affecting the quality of the RBC, or ultimately it is affecting the quality of the hemoglobin, or ultimately it will be making the human as an iron deficiency. So the quality of the blood which is required to test the RBC properly somehow has gone distorted, right? And now if in this case we examine the diabetes of that particular person, so the result would be garbled only in that case, which means that it is not a proper result. And people are only relying on this very result. They are not aware, or so to say, they are ignoramus and oblivious about the quality of the blood they are consisting in the human body. And a huge number of the people are affected by the distortion of the RBC, right? You might have heard about many women are malnutrients. They are iron deficient here in our country, right? Because RBC ultimately made up of the iron. As I already told, iron consists the hemoglobin. Hemoglobin consists, sorry, I am saying in wrong way. Basically, hemoglobin made up of the iron in that way, and RBC made up of the hemoglobin. If there is the deficiency of the iron, then definitely it will give the distorted result. If there is the deficiency of the hemoglobin, definitely it will give the distorted result. And if there is the deficiency of the RBC, it will give the distorted result in order to calculating the diabetes of that particular person. And we are not focusing on this particular area and just relying on the test of HbA1c in order to diagnose the diabetes. So we need to focus on this problem as well. right? Then only we can get the proper data in accordance with this very test, which we usually go for calculating the diabetes of a particular person. And most prevalently, the diabetes I am talking here about, type 2 diabetes, which is insulin independent diabetes. And in that case, we take the sample of the blood. But if the blood itself is distorted, due to the distortion of the RBC, it could be in the form of the iron, it could be in the form of hemoglobin, or it could be in the form of the RBC, then the data will not show the proper result of that particular person of the type 2 diabetes. So we need to focus on elsewhere as well in order to go through the test of HbA1c. So this is the summary of this article. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, UK. Wow, it was really wonderful and in detail. And you have really lots of knowledge about anything. It is not means it is this topic is about the disease, about diabetes and blood, but you explain in detail, point to point. So it was really grateful for us. And yeah, thank you so much. I have no any extra points and other things. Everything is fantastic. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Chitra.
So we have Shikha ma'am. Hello, Shikha ma'am. Hello, Shikha ma'am. Are you there?
Yes, I am here. Now my turn,
Yes, Shikha
Chitra.
ma'am. Yes. What is your article number?
Uh, okay. It is, I want to read article number 1.
Okay, ma'am. All the best.
I am searching for new verse. Okay. So, it is a state problem. So, I am interested to read it. Trinamool Oilcom's SC intervention in SIR calls it big victory for Bengal. Ruling party says this is a unilateral move to parachute micro-observers exclusively into West Bengal's blown apart. LOP Shubhendu Adhikari says BJP reserves right to challenge final voter list.
सगळं लिहून आणशील वत्सल?
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, ma'am, you
Yes,
are
yes.
audible.
Okay. Yes. The Trinamool Congress TMC on Monday welcomed the Supreme Court's intervention in the case pertaining to the ongoing special intensive revision SIR of electoral rolls in West Bengal and called it a big victory for the state. The court said micro-observers appointed by the Election Commission's EC cannot take decision and directed the West Bengal government to make Group B officers available for the SIR exercise. Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, who appeared in court in person on February 4, had said micro-observers were being engaged only in West Bengal and not in other states where the SIR is going on. The Honorable Supreme Court has delivered a stinging rebuke to ECI's BEEP's arbitrary overreach in equivocal terms. The court has ordered that micro-observers can only assist EROs and AEROs and that the final authority rests solely with EROs. Further, the court has directed that 8,505 Bengal officials be tagged to EROs to support the SIR process. The Trinamool Congress stated in a post on social media. West Bengal's ruling party said the development blows apart the EC's unilateral move to pursue micro-observers exclusively into Bengal to influence, to intimidate and manipulate the process. It added that constitutional vandalism has now been struck down by the highest court of the land and termed it a weak victory for democracy. SR in final stage. The SR process is in its final leg in West Bengal with the state chief electoral officer seeking an extension of 7 days. The TMC leadership led by Mrs. Banerjee has opposed the Cesar exercise in the state and called it an attempt to remove names of genuine people from the electoral rolls. A leader of the opposition in the assembly, Shovendra Adhikari, said the ruling party's desperate attempt to remove micro-observers has been proven. The doors that Mamata Banerjee and the Trinamool Congress have opened at the Supreme Court will leave all the responsibility with AERs as Assistant Electoral Registration Officer and EROs, Electoral Registration Officers. If suspicious voters are included in the voter list as a party and as individual voters, we will also have full right to challenge this after the final voter list is published, he said. The BJP has been demanding purification of electoral rolls in this state. The party said it will not allow the assembly election, which is likely to be held in next few months, to take place unless the SIR exercise is held properly. After publication of the draft electoral roll in December last year, the names of 58 lakh voters were deleted in the state under categories such as death, permanent address shift, and untraceable. That's all about the article. I read it. And now I'm going to summarize it. We know all that is SIR is going on in West Bengal and also other overseas countries are there. Sorry, states are there. And but it is our ruling party always the opposition party of the central government for this reason. They are always interrupt and also resist and also something creating problem is going on, which is also violence. And this process, he want to stop this process before starting it. And but this article is telling about the SR, but it is now it is very recent report. That is Monday. On Monday there was a hearing in the case between the state government and EC, Election Commission in West Bengal, and Supreme Court also intervened the matter to solve it, and that is ruling party also told that that is special observer. Special observer, no, it is not special observer, it is okay. 1 minute. Special observers, they are against the special observers, which has been which are doing the final have the taking the final responsibility for the final judgment, that is final listing in the electoral rolls. But there is a there was a pause because this is the that is election It is called the uh, Vidhan Sabha election, West Bengal election, and it is for the state. They have their all responsibility, and they are IAS officer, BDOs, and also some DLOs are also there who are participating in this matter to complete rightly, and it is also pure. That is, it is also that no proper citizen, no legal citizen could not be deleted, and also illegal citizen could not be list in the list, could not be uh, stay in the list also. And this in this regard, that all the officers, all the group B, group C, and also the IS, all the officers are have to act as per election commission. And election commission also asking for a 8,505 officials to do the to make the SIR process, so to support the SIR process properly. And but they are not allowed till now. And on the court, they also told, we will do it today. But already election commission told that, and for this reason, this is special scrutiny officers also have to become and have to be come from central government employees. They are from West Bengal, but from central government, and they are doing and assisting, not doing, they are assisting the EROs and EROs, but they are also protesting that in the presence of these central government employees, and they are against the local party, and also the officers are being guided by the our chief minister. For this reason, Mamata Banerjee, for this reason, there is a conflict between the between this communication gapping, and also the opposition in party. They are so everything is should be, the electoral is making after 22 3 years after, but it is also West Bengal is a very, that is the border, sharing border, a long border, which is also not that is fencing all everywhere, and Bangladesh people also easily can come to here. This is the open door, and not only they are saying they are in West Bengal, but also spread all in all India. This is the thing. For this is special intensive revision of electoral is going on, and also that is partly also tell it is politically taken by the BJP government, because they are trying this to delete, to remove these illegal immigrants. But that is chief minister of the state also, they are encouraging them. Also, they have putting their everything, every identity card by oneself, and they are using them as a voter, illegal voter. But in this regard, it is so tough to continue properly for the EC, the SIR process. But on the other state, it is no problem. But here is problem a lot, and for this reason, they have both EC and party have to go to the Supreme Court for the solution, and Supreme Court also take the matter seriously, and they also they can ask questions, so many questions, both the parties. But after that, they can understand. Supreme Court understand what is the problem. So they also told that that is all the responsibility and to the for peace and and that is everything, so that the HR process could be continued properly and peacefully. And for this reason, they have been asked to maintain this environment peacefully. And in this regard, it is not that is noted in this article. That is the superpower. That is the most powerful is the officer, police officer, who has been taken his duty only 7 days. He have to be so-called noticed, and also give the answer to due to this notice. That is, court have given her no notice. It is a very serious matter, and he is the superpower of police, and he is only. But that is the former that is election of police officers, that is Rajiv Kumar also there, but he are always allowing those immigrant as well as part. They are always avoided by the that is Mamata Banerjee. Most of the people like that. So it is very tough to go, do the work. But now both the party are satisfied with the court, because it is a great victory, because that is withdraw, that is scrutiny of the officers. But it is not that. Our court also told that they are not the proper that is properly uh, that is that is forced, that is they are good be, so they cannot and they have to work under the EROs and AEROs. And this process was going on already. It was going on, but they are thinking that it is not done by the EROs and AEROs. And in this regard, they are satisfied, and also remark as it is a great victory for the Trinamool Congress. And also you should know that he has the court has intervened the matter to uh, to maintain peace and non-violence also. And for this reason, they are also satisfied, and all the power they have. The so court also told that, and all the power is registered that, because EC is a independent body as per constitution. So nobody can nobody can guide them. They are as the sole authority to prepare this purely. And in this regard, opposition also told that is they also that is they could not work properly for this reason. They also told after publishing the final list, and it will be in last month of this month, last of this month, maybe 7 days extension has been granted. So it will be 22, 23 like that. And after that, they can have chance to check. Everybody has the chance as a voter to check the list, and if there is any problem, they have to uh, challenge it. It is no matter. But if the legal documents are there, if anyone is the proper, the genuine voter, they should not be deleted. But if that is immigrant or any, they are not the proper citizen of India, they should be deleted. They must be deleted. That's all.
Okay, thank you so much, Shikha ma'am. So it was really a detailed explanation. So I really appreciate you about your knowledge and your confidence. So thank you so much for that. Anybody wants to add something in this article?
Yes, Chitra, may I add one or two point?
Yes, why not? Of
Yes,
course, I am
please.
waiting for you.
No, no. Actually, you have explained each and everything in a very profound manner, ma'am. But I'll just add one or two point. Supreme Court disseminated this decision, but Mamata Banerjee, or so to say TMC, is portraying it as a victory for them. But by the way, in reality, it is not. What is the reality? We must understand. This is the duty of the center, and it's not being done in the West Bengal only. It will be done in each and every state where the SIR process will be held. And the same thing was done back in 2003 and the SIR before that as well. So what had happened in West Bengal, because the article is focusing on the West Bengal only, the SIR process is going on. It's not only for, by the way, for the West Bengal, it will be happen everywhere across the country. Recently, we have seen in the Bihar as well. But what the allegation they made on the incumbent government on the center, and they went on saying the Supreme just before the Supreme Court that center's observer could somehow taken the power away of the ARO and AERO. Basically, these are the state level responsible authorities in order to conducting the SIR and the process like those on a practical or on a ground level, right? What the case they raised before the Supreme Court, the incumbent government of the West Bengal, that the observer, those who are coming from the center government, and we know that the animosity between the center and the state government of the West Bengal, right? So, what was their allegation before the Supreme Court on the incumbent government of the center, that they can somehow surpass the power, authority, and responsibilities of the ARO and AERO, those who are the state level responsible authority for conducting such kind of practices in the state. So the allegation was this on the center. And by the way, center did not say anything in this case that the observer that they are sending from the center to the state will take away the power of the ARO and AERO. But Supreme Court just reaffirmed or reiterating by saying this, yes, the observer from the centers are only for observing the thing, whether the things are being done properly or fairly on the ground or not by the ARO and AERO. Supreme Court did not say that the observer from the center are taking away the power of ARO and state AERO. But when the Supreme Court disseminated this decision, so Mamata Banerjee government is portraying it as a victory of the democracy. By the way, it is not. Why? It is the same process which had happened in the Bihar, which is happening in my state Uttarakhand, which is happening in the West Bengal, and which will happen everywhere across the country, because they have this prejudice mindset against the center that their observer can intervene the state ARO and AERO power. That's why they went on saying before the Supreme Court that they could literally be detrimental for the working process of the ARO and AERO. But by the way, that was not the case, and Supreme Court just reaffirmed and reiterating the same statement what Supreme Court said in the case of the Bihar, what Supreme Court said in the case of the Uttarakhand, and the Supreme Court could say in the same thing in case of the other state SIR too. So there is no new thing in it. We must understand. But this is only because of this prejudice mindset, and we know that Mamata Banerjee should also give the answer of the some question that how the illegitimate and illegal people from Bangladesh coming in West Bengal and getting the voter card and other card. So these questions also should be answered by her as well, if she is portraying it as a victory of democracy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, UK. So it was really different points and details also. So thank you so much once again for that. Yeah. So anybody left here?
One statement of mine. I think the victory why exactly she is calling is because of the officer. 8,500 officer. What exactly Supreme Court says? She's thinking I can manipulate from the state level also. Because if you're going to see the ultimately the Supreme Court remark has come into existence, where Supreme Court says that election commission could not only could only assist electoral registered officer, right? But the ultimate or the final authority rests in the EROs. And that is something they are thinking that we can utilize according to the officers would be related to my state, and so I can have a good checks and control. That might be one of the contexts why the lady is saying that I'm having the victory with that.
Okay, yeah. Thank you so much, Asmayam, for sharing your different points. So, so anybody here would like to take part in this session?
Yes, I want to take part. Can I?
You added your name?
Scarlett.
Yes, Scarlett. But you added your
Do I
name
need
on the
to
website?
join the queue?
Yes.
Okay. So tell me which article left.
Okay. 1199, all these are completed. You can choose another. Hello.
Yeah, Chitra, saying something?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. 11, right? Okay, I'm going to
Yes,
read the
no,
11 number article.
no.
Back on, huh?
All these are completed. 11,
All
19,
this.
1, 9.
Okay. 11, 19, 1,
9,
9.
1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm, okay. So can I read yeah, 16. Can I read number 16?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, read.
Relations. Thank you, Citra ma'am. Relations about job creation from Mr. Milk. A recent visit to a dairy processing plant in Erode taught us more about job creation than all the TV debates on the Indian economy. Erode has been key to Tamil Nadu's economic story for decades. Business owners mention multiple constraints holding them back: access to credit, skill gaps, regulatory complexity, tariff structure. To understand how these constraints operate in practice, we visited the main plant of Mr. Milk, a mid-sized company in western Tamil Nadu. There, we found that even when ambition, demand, and infrastructure exist, structural barriers prevent growth. Yet the visit also revealed reasons for optimism about India's employment challenge. The constraints: Mr. Milk has an impressive capital-intensive facility with a sophisticated plant designed to handle far more milk than it receives. It is not a startup. With over 2,500 crore in annual turnover, it is a serious operation. It sources milk from about 2,000 dairy farmers, yet management estimate that the plant could integrate supply from nearly 70,000 farmers without significant additional investment at the processing end. The constraint is not demand for dairy products, not is it a lack of infrastructure, it is the limited ability of small dairy because they lack access to affordable and reliable credit. For small dairy farmers, purchasing additional cattle, ensuring consistent feed supply, investing in basic sets, and accessing veterinary care all require upfront expenditure. Reserve Bank of India data show that small and marginal farmers, who account for over 85% of operational land holdings, receive a disproportionately small share of formal agriculture credit. The alternatives remains informal borrowing at high interest rate, which raises risks and discourages investment. Mr. Milk and its supplier farmers can grow together, but only if policy enables those who can create output, jobs, and income. Mr. Milk has ambitious growth plans inspired by the success of giants such as Amul. Amul's cooperative network today includes roughly 3.6 million dairy farmers. Dairy milk procurement is close to 35 million liters, and the Amul Group's turnover has crossed rupees 80,000 crore. These numbers reflect not just consumer demand or brand strength, but the power of aggregation combined with institutional support. Amul's model reduces risks for farmers by ensuring predictable procurement and facilitating access to services and finance. The lesson is not that private farms must become cooperatives. It is that without solving credit constraint at the procedural level, scaling up becomes nearly impossible. Mr. Milk's experience highlight how much untapped potential exists between India's small private farms and its national champions. Looking beyond dairy, erodes broader industrial landscape reinforces the same pattern. The district has long been a hub for small and medium enterprises (SMEs), particularly in textile and manufacturing, built on dense clusters shaped by reinvestment, local networks, and market responsiveness. During a meeting with around 50 SME owners, there was no shortage of ideas or demand, but nearly all of them pointed to constraints that limit growth and employment. Skill shortages are emerging as production becomes more technologically demanding. Regulatory complexity and compliance cost weigh disproportionately or on smaller firms. Tax uncertainty strains cash flows, while tariff structures raise input costs for manufacturers dependent on imports. Together, these constraints determine whether firms can scale and integrate into national and global value chain. The process through which job intensive growth is created. International evidence shows that SMEs account for a disproportionate share of net job creation, particularly in labor abundant economies. The World Bank estimates that SMEs provide nearly 70% of global employment and are the primary source of new jobs in developing countries. When these firms are unable to grow, employment creation slow even if headline GDP numbers look strong. Capital intensive investment may raise output, but they cannot absorb labor at the scale India's demographics demand. Demographic trajectory. The urgency of addressing these constraints is heightened by India's demographic trajectory. Most projections suggest that India's working age population advantage will begin to narrow within the next 2 decades. If sufficient quality jobs are not created during this period, the opportunity will be lost. Large infrastructure projects and headline investment announcements, while important, will not by themselves absorb India's labor force. Employment at scale will come from MSMEs, agro-processing, and value chains that link small producers to markets. When SMEs are unable to grow, they strengthen the entire economic ecosystem. Farm scales originally, smaller suppliers raise incomes sustainably, and workers find better jobs closer to home. India's growth story won't be written by its largest corporations alone. It will be written by a million of smaller enterprises, farmers, and workers who are ready to grow right now. In erode, sorry, sorry. Yeah, in erode, that readiness is already visible. The question is not whether India can create jobs at scale, it is whether it will remove the constraint. Starting with credit access before the demographic dividend expires, we likely have 2 decades. The clock is ticking. So I am done with the reading part.
So
Am I
try to
audible?
summarize in short.
Yeah. So, in this article, after reading the entire article, which title is Lessons about Job Creation from Mr. Milk, what we get that this article is talking about the SMEs, which full form is Small and Medium Enterprises. So, Mr. Milk also one of them. Uh, I mean, there are so many constraints right now which is going in India. We know that in India, youth are in, working population, especially the labor population is quite high right now. And the problem is that everyone is suffering to get a good work. I mean, people are not getting work, and if it happen, then India won't be able to develop in near future. Why? Because the number of youth right now is too much compared to, if we compare like after 10 or 20 years, number of youth will decrease definitely. So if Indian government won't work with this to improve the number of SMEs or the MSMEs, then it will be constrained. It will hinder the growth of India. So the writer is trying to give the example of Mr. Milk, which form around which have a good startup over 2,500 crore in annual turnover, and they include farmers, the marginal farmers, and who account for over 85% of operational landholding. So yeah, they are working. So this is a good example, and the author tried to give the example of Amul as well, because Mr. Milk has that ambitious growth plans. I mean, it tried to get inspired itself by the giant company of milk, which is known as Amul. We know that Amul cooperative network today includes roughly 3.6 million dairy farmers. So, and then the author is trying to say that only, like there should be a lot of SMMEs so that a youth will work on that, and turnover will be high, and then overall growth of India will happen. Yeah, this is all I get from this article.
Okay, thank you so much, Scarlett. So, yeah, so you read this article so confidently. Actually, this article is a lengthy article. Apart from that, you read properly with proper pronunciation, pauses, and other things. Means everything is fantastic, and you also explain in short, but it is really truthful and knowledgeable. So, thank you so much for participating. So, anybody wants to add something in this article?
Am I audible?
Yes, Swayam, please go
Yeah,
ahead.
thank you. I think the whole article that exactly we have followed by the help of Scarlett ma'am is just touching about one case study related to the Misty Mill, right? Which is a mid-sized dairy processing company with an impressive capital-intensive facility. Okay, but currently underutilized. So the article is talking about or explaining that how exactly the structural barrier which are present in the system of our is work, okay, preventing the very growth and the job creation in India. So the article has taken the multiple sub-categorization, sub-segregation, taking the what is the prominent constraint, which are the very reason, what is the credit problem that we're dealing with, how they have done the comparison with the Amul, which is having the greater dominance, and what is the really required to cope up with the full potential that exactly we are having with. If you're going to talk about the credit problem that exactly would have been spoken here, with the small and the marginal farmer who makes nearly 85% of the landholders receives disproportionately small shares of the agriculture's credit. And this is where the whole problems come into existence. And it is forced in that manner to go that non-informal route of borrowing, and which take the whole lot of the interest, and with the interest that somehow demotivate them to go one step forward or to do something very productive in that domain. Except that if you're going to see there a big giant like Amul, right? We are familiar with the success story of the giant, but we have to be also greatly concerned with that how exactly these cooperative networks and the massive turnover that exactly they are having with, they are not just controlling the market, they are also having the great checks and control or connection with the systems. And that is where the whole problems come into existence, why they are not allowing the rivalry to come into existence in the market. If you're going to see the broader MSC issue, which stand for the small medium enterprises, is really present in the country of India. So this is one of the prominent example, okay, where if they are going to get the potential or the opportunity of the wealth creation, or they can expand their boundary beyond that state. But why exactly they are limited to a very small patch of the country? The very big reason is the model of the system that exactly we are following. So now the concern that is really required to tackle is that what is the core concern that we have to really focus. As we know, we are a population dependent country. Until unless we are not going to utilize the resource in the form of the capital, going to transform that and going to use the benefit, the same population is going to be burden on our head in the coming future. So the article is trying to make us aware of how to exactly bring out the whole potential that exactly is enshrined with the population of our own country. As we know, 60 to 70% of our population is the working age population, having the average is of less than 35 years. And this is something called the opportunity of the population dividend that we are having. But if you are not going to provide them the opportunity of employment, not going to reap the benefit that exactly we can extract, the same population is going to be burdened. That is somehow okay. There are some of the perspective that article has touched about. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Swayam. So, yeah, it was really detailed explanation. Yeah. So, thank you so much once again for sharing. So, anybody here who like to take part in this session?
Yes, I would like to participate.
Priyanshu Singh. Okay.
Yes, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Which one articles is left? So I would like to read.
Okay. Actually, I shared you which are completed. Just a minute.
Okay, just
Yeah.
I check out which
16.
one is important.
Listen carefully. 16, 9, 11, 19, 1. All these are completed. Hello.
16. What? Yes. Hello.
16, 1, 9, 11, 19.
16, 11, 19. All importance has already covered. Okay, just I read article number 12.
Okay.
It is covered.
Yes, you can continue with trail. All the best.
Okay, thank you. A long time after I am reading new articles. A delightful morning to all of you. My name is Priyansu. Now I am participating in this News Nexus session. So shall begin with our article number 12. Stick flying ideas. Sentiments cannot be allowed to trigger a criminal process against art. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath's direction to file the first information report (FIR) against the maker of a film over its title Guskar Pandit is a sign that horse section of the ruling establishment have come to the trade speech that they dislike. Mr. Adityanath aligned that the title attempts to disrupt social harmony and hurts religious or caste sentiments. The producer agreed to remove promotional materials for the film. A dispute over expression quickly became a policing matters and the threat of criminal process swiftly compiled cap- capitulation even before any court has examined the face. Article 90 subclause clause 1 subclause A protect speech precisely with the cause it is sometimes the unwelcome to powerful groups. Restrict the restriction that the state can impose are the enumerated in Article 9 subclause clause 2 and have to the proportionate court have also separate speech that often from the speech related to violence or disorder. In present a case of case, the FIR is the threat issued by the Chief Minister no less to to blesses to coercive mercy of the criminal law, or sign that the state fears public debate and wants to flatten the issue to matter or discipline of citizens. Article 90
Hello, Priyanshu. You are not audible.
no, I'm some network is okay. West Bengal ordered the Kerala story not be screened in the state to maintain law and order. A few months earlier, the center had directed platform to remove a link to the BCC documentary India. The Modi question sends a judicial finding on illegality Other examples include Kom De Hira 2014, India's Daughter 2015, Padmavat 2018, and the documentaries infiltrating Australia, India's Secret War and Contract to Kill both 2024. In a diverse society, people can loudly say they are hurt by many things, which is when sentiments and useful threshold to trigger a criminal process. Equally, when filmmaker and digital distributor believe that the safest way out is to erase contest material rather than the defend it is law. The public loses access to the work. Court lose the chance to clarify legal standards. Society lose a chance to exercise the democratic response to controversial art. Easy. Boycott or strain in return and the overtime. The marketplace of idea wills speech is not always free to consequence, but the state bears the burden of the examine it with specificity. A more sensible response when there is a credible claim of unlawfulness is for the aggressive aggrieved party to seek the judicial relief, record the reason, and adopt the least restrictive measure, taking executive action filed in the face of the constitution process. It is Mr. Adityanath's responsibility to ensure the public order will allow people to express themselves, not to maintain it is a culting. It is by culturing expression all together. So I'm done my reading part. So this article is telling about the stick ideas. There are many films they are affected in our society. So this article is telling about Aditnath say the direction to film or information report. Aditnath or Yogi Aditnath fire some upcoming movie. So this article is telling about that idea. That's all.
Okay, thank you so much, Priyanshu. So you are taking part in this session, so it was really wonderful. So keep practicing more and more, and try to keep your presence in this session. And yeah, so next time
Okay,
we
thank you.
please yeah. So just focus on
Okay,
your
thank you.
explanation part. Okay.
Yes.
Otherwise, everything is good. So
Okay,
anybody
thank you
wants to
so
add
much.
something?
Yeah, I
Something in
love
this
to.
article?
Yeah,
Oh,
Yes,
before
Priyanshu.
ending, yeah, Priyanshu, carry on.
no, no. I just want to add that how important this article for us as an Indian society. There's a concept like the socio-temporal variation that, as per the various society and the different aspect of the time. For example, it keeps on changing. What is good, what is not good, and what society treat as an particular act and look down upon something that is treated as a crime or an offense. But specifically, if we go up by this article, in this article, it's written that Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister, the highest competent constitutional authority who had taken an action with respect to that, he had directed to file a first information report against the maker. So the author's main argument or the critical analysis that why to directly go for the FIR itself on the perusal of the facts if it seems that it violating certain sentiment. So the test of very sentimental value is very subjective. It depends upon people to people. For example, what I seem to be from a urban background or from the North Indian city, it's not the same as in South Indian city. So, yeah, I agree with the author that a credible claim, if you're claiming that something is unlawful and you have to be the heavy burden of proof should be on the aggrieved party that you are responsible, and if your sentiments are hurt or if you have the belief that that will create a negative repercussions or the consequences are that it will create a disharmony in the society.
So it's the responsibility of the state to maintain the law and order in the state. As in this article, he's writing again, reiterating the same thing. That 19(1)(a), Article 19(1)(a) protects our freedom of speech and expression. If the executive action unable to protect that or safeguard that right, well, tell how are we a country running? So the only remedy or the only solution the producer and director are finding just to take back their own content. But the author is saying that we have to make a balance, that imposing the least restriction on the said kind of incident in order to ensure the beneficial interest of the producer, director in the film, as well as society. Like whether it's in the prima facie it seems that it is creating or have the tendency to create a negative repercussion in society. So they have to prove beyond the reasonable doubt. Then only we can go ahead with that remove the whole content from the social media. But this is not a proper solution that the producer are forced by filing certain kind of executive orders or the FIR, so that they have to forcefully remove their content, which is extremely violating on the sheer violation of their freedom of speech and expression. And yeah, and I will say that it's necessary that they file and they fight for the action and they fight for their own rights. And instead of that, that's why the judiciary or the judicial role will come into play. And they should balance the interest between the society and their own film. Until they don't find how the country and the society will develop in a rightful direction. So yeah, I will go ahead with that, and thanks and kudos to the author for raising such critical issues and highlighting all the faces of the article. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Priyanshu. So it was really knowledgeable. Swayam, are you ready with your points?
Yeah, so I would love to come with a point of disagreement what exactly the writer has written about. The thing is that the very statement of Yogi Adityanath is very much preventive centric approach, not exactly. It's just like that before coming any specific problem, let's eradicate from the ground. But that the article has given its constitutional way of the viewpoint. But one thing that we have to greatly concern with what exactly the statement has come from what exactly was the incidents, right, of the FIR, and how exactly he has given the justification that it is somehow going to disrupt the social harmony and will hurt the religious and the caste sentiments. That is something required to be understood. And if you're going to see the immediate consequence that has come to existence, so we can't use this term something called, am I audible? What's this term? Okay. Okay. So if you're going to see the immediate consequences that exactly we have seen, that the producer itself come with a point of agreement. It means he has realized there is some area of loophole that he has made. As we know, the Article 19, one clause, they give us liberty to right to speech, expression, anything in any way. But even though Section 2, Clause 2 also brings some restriction, right? There are some reasonable restrictions which are enshrined in that. So he himself understands that there is some area of loophole that has come from my side. So why to approach to the court rather than eradicating that existing loophole? The article, the author has given his perspective in his own way, because he has kept the no matter anything, right? Speech and expression can go next a specific extreme. But always court should take the stance in order to justify what is right, what is wrong. But the thing is that if suppose that I have used any wrong word against any specific person, I have used a abusive term, I have realized when the person has spoken me, this is something against the rights and this is violating the rights of someone else. So I should stop myself rather than approaching the court justifying no, what wrongs I have done. No, that's not right. So the statement of the head of the state, Yogi Adityanath, was very much preventive centric approach. It's not something like creating let the chaos be created, after that we will resolve the problem. That's one. If you're going one step forward, touching the how exactly the critics part has come to existence. So they have talked about that how exactly FIR is a threat by the state or using the coercive criminal law. But somehow, if you're going to see from the from the lens of understanding the historical stuff, what exactly has taking the example of the Kerala files or something like that, right? So they were also having the same element. So now the concern is that anything what is coming in the making, what is the very intention behind that? Is intention the awareness in the population, or is intention to come up with some controversy to bring the more fame of the movies on the stuff that they are trying to bring on the table? That is something we have to be greatly concerned with whenever these types of movies or things are coming on the tables. So problems can be solved. So rather than just letting the problem be created, let's understand, okay, the preconceived notion too, and what exactly might be the future repercussion. If we can, okay, minimize that, if we can control that, let's do that. So I do support the very statement and the remark of Yogi Adityanath, and against the very remark of what exactly the editorial is speaking about.
Yeah, I will take only one then. I don't want to counter it, but partially I agree with you. But that's not a proper recourse that you are filing the FIR. It seems that you are taking the criminal law into the or setting the criminal law into motion only on the face that you just wanted that this picture should not be published. It is we have the censor board. If any other things is not at all correct from that movie, it will be cut across the or the part will be segmented. But prima facie, if you see the name itself, it's called a creative freedom that they are using that goose called Pandit. Basically, they're highlighting the I don't know the proper story, but from the words itself, that is corruption on the police machinery system. And if any other thing is to be rectified, corrected, we have a proper censor board, have a proper meeting. That only after that is a post production. So the whole process to be carried on. But just using the FIR and, for example, hypothetically, I make a short film. I just release on the YouTube, and next day I see that the FIR being lodged against me. There's a huge protest, and I don't know what's actually happening. So I don't think so that it's a sheer and it's against the principle of creating freedom. And country like India, where we just popularize the democracy, at one end they are supporting the particular party that the Kerala story should be released in every state, or this should be tax free. But the moment any the kind of small, even just the name itself, even they don't, a lot of person even don't watch the whole teaser itself, but their comment is on the face of the thing itself. That's why I agree with the author in the latter part of the article that heavy burden of proof should be on the person. That why should agree that they should create certain kind of wrong things in the society. Only that point. Thank you.
Here, just I will take 30 seconds. Here, the two dimension of understanding will come into existence. One dimension, that person has accepted a loophole, that he has created some loophole. The second dimension is that, okay, he was forced by the some, okay, higher dispensation, like, or authority. All the, okay, both the dimension have a different point of explanation. You are touching the dimension of the forceful execution or forceful, okay, FIR has taken by the supreme authority, so that was somehow created the fear in the mind of the filmmaker. I'm keeping another dimension. He accepts his fundamental loophole that exactly he created. So that might be the perspective or difference of opinion with the perspective of looking the article. Yeah, Chitra, please carry on.
Okay, thank you so much, Priyanshu and Swayam. Yeah, so it was really incredible work, and yeah, it is happening about a specific and creative movie. But what about the OTP um, series and movies? It is not happening with them. So what about on
Yeah,
this
it's
point?
an OTT movie, by the way, Chitra ma'am.
OTT, yes, yes, OTT. Yeah. So it is completely discrimination, you can say. What about this point? It is not happening in OTT movies and series.
Ma'am, can you repeat your question?
I'm saying all restriction rule regulation is goes to the theater movie, okay, but it is not happening in OTT.
Yeah, for OTT, there's a social media guidelines being issued, and even they are now doing, but I don't think so. There are proper rules and regulations. But the movie which is being circulated here, it's going to be released on a Netflix. So that's why the controversy just erupted that Netflix has issued that what kind of movies they are going to produce or publish in 2026. So that's why this whole eruption arose. Yeah, but I agree that there's not a proper codified rules and regulations or any proper censorship board.
Yes, okay. So thank you so much. I think this article is incomplete article because it has lots of dimension if you think. But yeah, only UP government is conscious about it, but it is also alert about other state and their government also. Yeah. So thank you so much for that, for sharing your views. So anybody here who want to take part in this session?
Can I?
Otherwise, you added your name,
Who is a?
Siddhi ma'am.
And
Okay, Siddhi.
I already had money.
Okay, Siddhi. Oh, sorry, I forget.
It's there is an option. If you want to participate, just you can add name on website. Then you able to raise any article. But today is I think
It is over.
no.
Time is over for it. Adding.
Yeah.
Okay. You can try next day. It's Adi.
Okay.
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 You can
Okay, ma'am.
you
You
can try
can.
tomorrow. Okay. So can I over this session? There are no one.
Okay.
So thank you so much for joining here and give your extra efforts, knowledge, and other aspects by your explanation. So thank you so much for participating. So it was really truthful and fruitful session. Yeah. So thank you so much for joining here.